Hello everyone and welcome back to the Starseed Dragon channel. We are finishing up the review of the Elemental Oracle by Stacey DeMarco. And we are on number 30, Oceans. And the book says, bravery, go forth and explore. You won't see much if you keep the shore always in sight. Be brave in your choices. This is not the time to be fearful. Someone who is close to you has a hidden side, and it is best to be mindful of this in your decision making. Words of power. Mar, Latin, sea. Tharos, ancient Greek, courage. We know a lot about life on land, but we know very little about life in the world's oceans, which comprise 71% of the planet. We are still discovering new species, for instance, a flesh-eating sponge and a strange hairy crab, and we have only begun to explore the deep ocean. We possibly know more about space than we do our own blue seas. The oceans are a source of great richness in the form of marine life, and their very existence influences everything from the weather to where humans settled and lived. Ancient seagoing cultures, such as the Vikings and the Polynesians, had an intimate relationship with the oceans, tides, trade winds, and stars, which enabled them to navigate the huge blue expanses. The bravery of such cultures leaving the sight of land, venturing and navigating outwards towards often unknown destinations, is considerable and a testament to the human spirit of adventure and curiosity. The sea has been integral to our very humanness, sustaining us and allowing us to travel, trade, and learn. It is a part of our DNA, yet in our busy lives we often overlook its importance. Because of this disconnection, the birthplace of life on this planet has become a garbage dump through acidification, pollution, overfishing, and habit destruction. We do know that without the oceans, life cannot exist on this planet, and that the oceans are in trouble. Ocean-based magic, like all water magic, concerns itself with the cycles of movement in the forms of stagnancy and flow, prosperity and emotional balance. Element is water. Next up, number 31, Lake. Isn't that pretty? That's a gorgeous card. Depth. Do not take the shallow alternative. Deep dive, do the research, do not cut corners. You may not be seeing the whole picture, so take your time with a decision. Word of power. Profundi. Latin, deep. Lakes are natural, self-contained bodies of water not connected with an ocean. They have their own ecosystems and often contain their own endemic species. Most have at least one stream or river directing the flow outward. The different classifications of lakes include glacial, tectonic, fluvial, and shoreline, and those formed by meteorites hitting the earth. As they are often fresh water, historically, lakes have attracted human occupancy as they are a water source. On Earth, most lakes were formed in the higher northern latitudes, although there are notable exceptions in Africa. Spiritually, lakes have been places of magic and power. Lake Wanaka in New Zealand is said to breathe in and out with the giant that lies underneath. that lies underneath it. Lake Baikal in Siberia, sometimes referred to as the Sacred Sea, is the largest source of fresh water in the world, containing over 20% of the world's unfrozen fresh water. Over 630 kilometers long, Baikal is very deep and its waters are very clear, and it contains over 3,000 unique species. One common shamanic practice is the offering of a small amount of vodka in certain sacred spots. It is also believed that something should be thrown into any fire you light as an offering to the spirits. It is said that if you bathe here or in other lakes such as Lagerflöt in Iceland, you will receive healing energies from the pure and ancient waters. Element is water. Beautiful. Now I want to go swimming in a lake. What do you think? Let's see. Next up, number 32, marine life. Richness. Fertility is yours. Your wishes will be granted. There is more than one way to find a solution to a problem. Adapt to the new. Word of power. Opulentium, Latin, richness. As a biome, the oceans are unmatched in richness and variety of life. It is estimated the oceans contain a total of 230,000 marine species, but this just scratches the surface. There are perhaps more than 2 million marine species yet to be classified. Marine life is vital to the health of the planet because the majority produce oxygen and sequester carbon, something we so desperately need in this time of man-made climate change. The oceans do indeed demand our respect, but I believe its creatures demand it even more so. Even if they approach you out of curiosity, sea animals are wild and should not be pursued. They should be given all the space they need. It is worth remembering it is we who are visiting them, not the other way around. Should you ever go with an organized adventure or tour company, choose only those that strictly follow a code of practice that protects the animals and the sea itself and the local laws and permissions of the area that you are diving or snorkeling in or interacting within. Element is water. Okay, next up. Ooh, that's intriguing. Nice. That's a beautiful card. Number 33, ice, purity. The way forward is clear. See nature in its purity. Let it comfort you and strip away what is unnecessary. Freeze out what is not of benefit to you at this time. When you look at things clearly, there will be a purity to the solution. Word of power, Svela, ancient Norse, swell. When water gets chilled to 0 degrees Celsius, it freezes into a solid state. That is, ice is formed. Ice has different appearances and forms that often depend on the rapidity of the freezing. Ice is less dense in its frozen form than in its liquid form. A kind of magic, really. It does, however, increase in volume, having a larger volume than water. The biome where ice forms naturally is called a cryosphere. Glaciers are very important forms of freshwater storage, while icebergs are usually large pieces of ice that have broken off from a land ice sheet. One of the most tiny but beautiful kinds of ice is that referred to as diamond dust. These are ice needles that form at temperatures approaching negative 40 degrees Celsius due to air with a slightly higher moisture content mixing with colder surface-based air. I have witnessed this phenomena. It was so exquisitely beautiful in the way it shimmered that I forgot how cold I was. Ice introduces an almost outer-worldly beauty, a kind of purity that very few other elements can offer. Ice festivals in places such as Japan, Sapporo, Russia, Krasnoyarsk, China, Harbin, and Norway, Galio, make any ice aficionado happy. Element is water. Okay, that was a beautiful card. Next up, number 34, snow, silence. Allow yourself to soften. Don't speak just for the sake of it. You do not need to issue an opinion on everything. Choose your words carefully. Sometimes observing is the best way to gain information and trust. Word of power. Silentium. Latin, be quiet. To me, snow always equals silence. When it snows, the environmental sound is dulled and muffled. There is a sense of quiet and contemplation if you allow yourself the time to be out in the snow with few people around. There are few environments in modern life that offer such quiet. Once snow crystals form in the atmosphere, they grow by absorbing surrounding water droplets. When a snowflake hits the ground, it melts slightly and assimilates depending on temperature, structure, and snow forms on the ground. Mountainous areas at altitude are likely to produce snow that is called relief snowfall. It is caused when masses of air pushed by wind are forced up the side of elevated formations. The lifting of air up the side of a mountain or range results in adiabatic cooling and the resulting precipitation needed for snow. Snow forecasts are an important aspect of living in snowy areas as large dumps affect everything from transport to agriculture. Skiing, snowshoeing, and snowboarding are all extremely popular activities to do in the snow. It is believed the Norse god Ullr invented skiing so man could get around more easily to hunt and travel, and Ullr is still honored for his invention. One Norwegian ski team had an Ullr symbol on their uniforms during the Winter Olympics. It is true that each snow crystal is unique, although scientists have found through microphotography they tend to correspond to around 80 specific shapes and sizes. Element is water. Next card, rain. Oh, that's a pretty card. Vicinity. The conditions of greater prosperity are being met. Know that all will be well. Cleanse yourself of old, outdated views. You have everything you need to grow. Let yourself be cleansed. Word of power. Fecundatio, Latin, fruitfulness. The sound of rain on leaves or a tin roof, the sweet smell of rain as it hits the thirsty earth after a hot day, the simple pleasures of life. You soon know how much rain contributes to the balance and health of a land when you haven't had any for a long time. You also understand how much it contributes to the positive mental health of communities that have been locked in drought states for a considerable length of time. Rain is liquid water from the atmosphere that has become heavy enough to fall under gravitational pull. It is a part of the life-giving water cycle and is the main supplier of fresh water to the land. Raindrops can vary in size due to temperature and the rate of coalescence. The amount of rain helps form biomes and ecosystems. Without rain, we have less fecundity. Plant life, particularly plants that supply food, do not thrive without rain or irrigation. Drought affects animals and pollinators such as fruit bats and bees, which are integral to the production of food. Some biomes are wetter than others and have almost constant rainfall, such as rainforest. Human intervention has influenced rain patterns. Particles of solid or liquid matter suspended in the air can increase cloud condensation and trigger a rain event. Man-made global warming is also affecting rain patterns, with some areas becoming drier and some having more intense rainfall. Element is water. Beautiful. Next up. Oh, that's pretty. Number 36, electricity, wildness. Embrace your wildness. Break free of your self-imposed constraints. Take immediate action. There is no need for further consideration of your problem. You contain the spark of the divine, so there is no reason to feel lesser. Confront the issue head on. Word of power, energia, ancient Greek, power in action. Have you ever stood out in a storm and felt the power of the lightning? Have you ever felt the hairs go up on your neck and arms and smelt the ozone after the crack? While I'm not encouraging you to get into harm's way, feeling the power of lightning is one amazing way to get connected to the element of electricity. Electricity isn't just generated during storms. It is pretty much everywhere. Our bodies generate and conduct energy, and we run on electricity. Each of our cells is designed to conduct energy through electrical currents, and the chemical elements in our bodies, such as calcium, potassium, and sodium, elicit a particular electrical change. These electrified elements, which flow across cells, are called ions. Our bodies use certain combinations of electrical impulses to form thoughts, movements, and instructive behaviors. Some fish generate enough electrical impulses to shock prey. Certain organs, such as the muscular heart, need specific electrical currents to work. The electrical impulses that cause the heart to pump is possibly the best example we can see of how the spark of electricity is vital to our balance and health. The spark of the divine is within you, and it is electric in its inspiration. Element is fire. Beautiful. Next card, number 37, magnetism, attraction. Know your values and needs so you are more aware of what your true attractions are. Do not run with the herd. Notice what or who you attract. Is this your intent? There is always nemesis or opposite energy to any endeavor you might take. This should not bother you as it is a natural law. Word of power, magnetis, Greek. Magnetism is one of the most obvious elemental physical phenomena. It is a highly active force. A magnetic field is a vector field that describes the magnetic influence of electric charges in relative motion and magnetized materials. Magnetism is used in a huge array of technology and extensively in electrical engineering. The word magnet comes from the Greek term magnetis lithos, meaning lodestone. The Greeks noticed certain stones would attract iron. Magnetism was studied the world over, and it was possibly Petrus Peregrinus de Méricourt in France in 1269 who most clearly demonstrated the idea of magnetic poles and fields crossing in 2 points by using fine iron needles on a magnet. Okay. He described magnets as having north and south poles, which was revolutionary. Models of magnetism were created and studied all through the 17th, 18th, and 19th centuries. In 1905, in his paper that described relativity, Einstein demonstrated that both the electric and magnetic fields are part of the same phenomena viewed from different reference frames. The Earth itself produces its own magnetic field that shields its ozone layer from destructive elements such as solar winds. The Earth's magnetic field is used in navigation and is measured using a compass. Magnetism is a field in medicine, is growing, with MRIs in common usage and transcranial magnetic stimulation in the testing stages for treatment for problems such as depression. We walk through and are part of the fields of magnetism every day of our lives. The idea of being magnetically repelled or attracted to something or someone is an old but enduring one. It is important that you know your needs and values so you can make wise decisions upon what you can be attracted to and why. Element is earth. Next card. Number 38, dark matter, mystery. The world still has mystery, and this is a fine thing. Just because you cannot see it doesn't mean it's not there. You do not have to know the details of everything. Some things are better not revealed at this time. Have faith. Word of power. Mysterion, ancient Greek, mysteries. Imagine an elemental force that makes up possibly 85% of the universe that you can't see and remains elusive, but you know it's there. Imagine this elemental matter is called dark because it's hard to perceive and it doesn't interact with electromagnetic radiation such as light. So it's virtually undetectable. Yes, mysterious. How do we know such a thing exists if it remains invisible? The math says that it's highly probable due to the way the universe behaves. In practice, the term dark matter is often used to mean only the non-baryonic component of dark matter. We still don't know what dark matter is made up of, although there are many theories. Scientists have managed to categorize dark matter by cold, warm, and hot, terms that refer to velocity rather than temperature. Dark matter is the subject of a huge amount of study. For now, we know we have a mysterious force that holds the universe together, which is a fantastic concept and one that invites the idea of the unknowable into the frame. Science doesn't know everything yet. Element is air. Beautiful. And then number 39, we're getting close to the end. 39, gravity, groundedness. Seek a grounded perspective. Word of power, gravitas, Latin, seriousness. Gravity is the natural force that causes all things with mass and energy to be attracted to each other. This includes planets, galaxies, light, and yes, even apples. The famous story about Isaac Newton and the apple actually did happen, but not the way most people think. While there is no evidence of young Isaac being bumped on the head by a falling apple, he was sitting in the orchard and observed an apple falling from a tree. He noticed every apple fell the same way, straight down, not sideways or somehow else impeded, and he wondered why. This inspired him to formulate the law of universal gravitation, which states that every body in the universe is attracted to every other body with a force that is directly proportional to the product of their masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. His famous apple tree continues to grow at Woolsthorpe Manor. Newton wasn't the first scientist or great thinker to consider there was such a thing as gravity. The ancient Greek philosopher Archimedes proposed there was a center of gravity within a triangle. The ancient Indian mathematician Aryabhata proposed in the 5th century there was a force that stopped objects being thrown into the air as the earth rotated. Later, Galileo showed that gravitational acceleration is the same for all objects by throwing balls off the Tower of Pisa. Gravity still remains one of the most studied forces in physics. Gravity is a fantastic element to include in your workings for groundedness and when you feel untethered because of trauma or things going too fast. Breathing, putting your awareness in your feet, and asking gravity to do its thing is good, solid magic. Element is earth. Next up, number 40, atoms, building. Everything is connected by the same building blocks of matter. You are electric and vibrating in motion. Being stagnant in your beliefs and growth is unnatural. Building and changing is natural. There is room for infinite variety. Word of power, atomos. Greek, undivided. Many ancient cultures suspected the world was made up of building blocks that couldn't be seen, while the elements of earth, air, fire, and water were part of their thinking. Many also thought that even these formidable elements were constructed from something. The ancient Greek philosophers Leucippus and his pupil Democritus suggested around 450 AD that atoms existed. They were infinite and that there must be different kinds to reflect the object that was the end result. Indian and Islamic scholars also reported on the ideas of atoms, but it wasn't until the 16th or 17th centuries the notion became a serious field of study with Bernier, Boyle, and Newton. The last 200 years have given us a clearer idea of what atoms are made up of. Each atom is composed of a nucleus and one or more electrons bound to the nucleus. The nucleus is made up of protons, subatomic particles with a positive charge, and neutrons, subatomic particles with no net charge that are slightly bigger than protons. The boundaries of an atom are not well defined, so they are able to connect and vibrate. We can use a scanning tunneling microscope to view surfaces at an atomic level. The idea that we are all connected or that everything is part of a whole is somehow born in quantum physics. It is not just some romantic ideal, but is something solid. Elements, all elements. Okay, so this is all elements. There we have it. Next card. Number 41, time, discipline. Find out the causes of your procrastination or resistance. Do not miss your opportunities. Someone is wasting your time. Be aware of this. You have finite time on this planet, so use it well. Word of power. Disciplinatus. Latin, disciplined. As you grew up, time seemed to pass very slowly, and you couldn't wait to grow up. Then, conversely, as you aged, time went quickly, and you knew it was running out. We have an innate idea of time, but what is it actually? Physics says time is what a clock reads. Simple. Time has also been defined as the continued indefinite progress of existence, but it is hard to put a definition to the word without actually using the concept of time. We normally refer to time and what it can do for us and what it means. Humans initially broke time down in measurements of light and dark, day and night, when the sun rose, when it began to circle across the sky, when it set, when the moon rose and continued its arc. As humans became more sophisticated and began to break down these phenomena into hours, minutes, and seconds, we learned how to accurately measure time, although many different cultures had just as many ways to express time through their calendars. The study of measuring time is called horology. Time is an important element in the way it combines with other elements: the speed of light, the velocity of an object, space, time, and gravity. Element is air. Interesting. Getting down to our last few here. Here we are on number 42. Speed, movement. Savor the experiences of your life. Be mindful and aware of the speed in which you do activities such as eating and working. Do not waste time, but understand the discernment of taking quality time. Word of power. Celeritatum. Ancient Latin, swiftness, velocity. Scientifically, the speed of an object is the magnitude of its velocity. It is an element we don't think about much unless we think of it in terms of our cars when obeying the speed limit, or in fast transport such as airplanes, and how long it takes to get somewhere. Speed then has the dimensions of distance divided by time. Although it is a key element that fits into many physical laws. For example, velocity describes both how fast and in which direction an object is moving, and the steady speed of light is key to many calculations and in astrophysics. We first begin to understand the concept of speed as children when we begin to observe the concept of overtaking or one thing traveling faster than another. It's possibly also when we first get our competitive urges. It is often said that as you are growing up, time seems to pass very slowly, and we cannot wait to grow up. And then conversely, as we age, time goes quickly as we know it is running out. We live in a speedy society, and knowing when to slow down can be the difference between balance and imbalance. Slow cooking, slow travel, taking time to think and process, and exercise self-care require a willingness to slow down enough to savor them. Element is air. Beautiful. Next card. Number 43, magic, alchemy. There is magic to be found everywhere if you look for it. You are the magic. Magic is not a miracle, although it can sometimes feel like it. Doubt kills more dreams than failure. Have faith in your ability. Weave together all the desperate pieces. Word of power, magus, Latin, magic. As a witch, I am often asked what magic is. It is a hard question to answer, and almost every practitioner who claims to work with magic would have a unique definition. For what it is worth, I see magic as a weaving of energy towards a particular purpose and an alchemic synergistic process. Magic has at its heart participation and purpose. Magic is deliberate change. Real magic isn't some trick with a magician in a magic show, although I do believe casting it involves an element of faith and expertise. Faith because we extend our own confidence and energy into a working, and expertise as the ancient and modern recipes of incantation and ritual dictate. Spell casting does have rules, a skeleton, if you will. You need a clear purpose and intention, and you need to be able to raise power, to release it in a focused way, and then take a physical step to start the transformation. Magic is commonly extended to heal, attract, repel, protect, lighten, and clear the way. And all workings with intentions such as these have a layered set of instructions and combinations of elements that make them effective. These might include specialized timing that includes the seasons or moon cycles, words of power, and certain thought forms. Elements that are all organized into a set that will influence time, space, atoms, thoughts, and electricity. Magic is a doing word, a working, a process. Magic to me doesn't exclude science. In fact, it is part of science, probably influencing it at an atomic level. That we don't exactly know how this all works doesn't make it incorrect or fantasy. After all, scientists are still trying to work out dark matter. Elements, fire and air. Beautiful. And our last card, number 44, the biome, connection. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts. You are asked for synergy at present. Be aware of the needs of others. You are a part of the same whole. Consider working more closely with your community. Word of power. Conligo, Latin, deduce, infer. Biomes are not ecosystems. They contain ecosystems. They are large areas of the earth based on temperature by altitude and latitude, climate, relief, geology, soils, and vegetation. A biome contains animals, plants, bacteria, and people. In fact, everything that is within and connected within that space. Biomes can take up both small and large geographical areas. Some ancient cultures, such as the Greeks, thought that the earth was alive as a being that had awareness, and therefore all parts of it were important to the whole. The definition is morphing yet again, as a human microbiome would be an individual person's skin. Everyone has a skin full of bacteria, fungi, skin cells, water, and other debris that form a unique skin biome. We are, in fact, made of biomes. Biomes on Earth fit together like a giant jigsaw puzzle or patchwork quilt. The health of one can affect the health of another. Element is earth. And that is it. That will do it for this review. That is our last card. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it and would like to purchase a deck of your own, then you can check out the link below. It is an affiliate link, and it'll take you right to the place that I got them, and I hope you enjoyed this. If you have a suggestion for a deck that you would like for me to read, please leave it down in the comments section below, and I'll see what I could do about getting that deck and doing that review. Otherwise, I hope that you have a really great day, and I'll see you in our next video.